Okay. So the last session of today's day is it'll be related to testing, inspection, certification demanded by buyers, and self-life validation, residue testing, and conformity assessment. So this has been handled by a leading company named Intertech. So they are into this field for since 1993, and they serve customers all across India as well as other countries also. Oh, so now they are having more than 1,000 laboratories and offices are there in more than 100 countries. So they will be delivering innovative and bespoke assurance, testing, inspection, and certification solution for the customers, operations, and supply chains. So I would like to welcome the regional sales manager who is heading for South India and Sri Lanka, Mr. Ramesh Swami, his team, Mr. Richa, then Ms. Chandini, Mr. Ravi Kumar. Over to you, sir. Thank you, Rath, sir, for joining the session.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nanya, for the wonderful introduction. So today's session will be on the webinar for exporting food and spices products to Africa and Middle East. So we'll start by the introduction. My colleague Richa will take you through the introduction part. Richa, over to you.
Thank you, Ramesh. Good afternoon, everyone. Big thank you to FIO for providing this platform where we can educate exporters on meeting the export compliance requirements, which are set forth by respective standard bodies and ministries of various countries. So today's webinar will focus on exporting food and spices products to Africa and Middle East. Next slide, please. Disclaimer, this presentation has been prepared specifically for FIO, which is Federation of Indian Export Organization. This presentation and the information must not be copied, reproduced, disclosed, or provided to any person other than recipient in whole or part without prior written consent of Intertech. Next slide. Before beginning this session, let's meet our key speakers for today. Today we have with us Chandni Bhatia, Pradeep Sumaya, Ramesh Kumar Swami, and self, Richa Bhadoria, as your guest key speaker, who will take you through all the mandatory guidelines and requirements. So today's agenda will cover a brief introduction about Intertech GTS program, overview of Middle East countries, overview of African programs, Intertech's testing scope to other destinations, a few case studies for your references, and major important point, why one should choose Intertech for exporting their goods to different destinations. And lastly, we have dedicated a slot for Q&A session where you can ask questions and we shall try to answer most of it. Now, who we are. Intertech is a global leader in assurance, testing, inspection, and certification, headquartered at London. The company has more than 44,000 employees across 100 countries in over 1,000 locations. The company provides quality and safety assurances to industrial companies and governments. In India, company has more than 2,500 employees, plus 200 qualified inspectors, with a reach of more than 40 plus lab and offices across India. Now we'll briefly discuss about Intertech's GTS division. GTS division is one of the division of Intertech which was established in 1984. We have globally 652 employees across 56 locations in 44 countries worldwide. We have pioneered, conceptualized, and developed CAP program, which is Conformity Assessment Program. The aim of implementing Conformity Assessment Program is to prevent unsafe products from entering into the market. GTS works with many governments covering Africa, Middle East, Europe, and America. Now we'll discuss Intertech's portfolio of program. GTS has an extensive portfolio coverage of conformity assessment program, particularly in Africa and Middle East. In addition to CAP, we have specific food and cosmetic programs in Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Qatar. We also have other commercial services, including physical and pre-shipment inspection programs in Philippines, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Libya, Mauritius, including India and Sri Lanka, as well as DR Congo. We also have verification and advisory service, wherein we have developed a new import and export advisory service, which will help exporters, traders, or manufacturers to understand the compliance regulations for various destinations, which doesn't fall under the purview of mandatory inspections. As of today, we have issued more than 3.3 million certificates for all type of government programs within GTS and have more than 1 lakh registered exporters and importers. We have also performed 3.5 million inspections globally. Now we'll discuss how the program actually works, how the program is defined. For example, a government implements a conformity assessment program or any kind of physical program. The exporter or the trader who wants to ship their products to that particular country where the government has implemented this CAP or physical PSI program, they will contact Intertech to get the certificate in order to meet the country's requirement. They will contact Intertech. Intertech will verify, they will pre-review it, they'll advise on the regulatory status, and then they will test, inspect, and verify by issuing a certificate of conformity, which will be given to importer. And once the importer has the certificate, it can be shown to the customs for the clearance of the consignment. So this is how the goods are cleared and the goods can be entered into the local market. So this is the last part. This is from my side. Let me hand over to Chandni to assist you with the programs, brief programs under African and Middle East countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Richa. Thank you for the wonderful introduction of our services. So, hello everyone, I'm Ramesh. I will take you through the countries which we are going to cover today. So, the countries listed over here, you find is like these are the major countries wherein the food certification for food certification is mandatory before being exported to the listed countries. So which we will cover today about the brief requirements for these countries like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Qatar, Mozambique, Botswana, Cameroon, Tanzania, Uganda. Then there's Ivory Coast and Zimbabwe. So we'll start with the first, the overview of Middle Eastern countries and Saudi Arabia. So just a moment. Yeah. So what happens is, see, Saudi Arabia has mandated a requirement wherein the SFDA, the Saudi Food and Drug Authority, has mandated that any products imported in their country should be complying with the standards, with the product testing, and should be a good quality food products that will only be allowed post inspection of the consignment from the country of the destination, from the country of supply. So the primary objective of the policy is to protect the public health, maintain consumer confidence, and safeguard the country's food supply. So any imported product must meet major requirements, major food safety requirements. Suppose the food products, any food products which are imported in Saudi must be free from harmful microbial and chemical contaminants. And certain products should also requires a strict halal compliance, which is again a non-negotiable in Saudi Arabia. So apart from that, even Saudi authorities, so whenever a consignment reaches, so they actively monitor any food imports to their country, that at the port of entry, in fact. And not only they will inspect or they will monitor in the while the consignment is being imported, but they also monitor it through ongoing market surveillance. So the compliance does not stop at the clearance itself. Any non-conformity product can be rejected or withdrawn at any stage of the inspection. So to avoid any delays and rejections, exporters must ensure that the consignment has been properly tested, inspected, and certified prior to the shipment. And the documentation for the consignments, which are being planned for shipment, should meet the requirement with the as per the SFDA requirements. Now we'll discuss about the product categories which are regulated, which requires mandatory certification, and also the countries of supply where these products are covered under the SFDA program. So these include a wide range of products, for example, poultry. Then there are products like spices, condiments, tea and coffee, and processed meat, fresh meat or frozen meat, fish and aquaculture. And there are vegetables and fruits, fresh vegetables and fruit, processed vegetables and fruits. And the infant formula, sugar and sweet, honey, rice, one of the major product, rice, and red meat and cheese, and any dairy products. So there are many countries of supplies where these products are imported from. So there are Brazil, China, India is there, Indonesia, Pakistan, Thailand, Egypt, Malaysia, Lebanon. So these are the countries at the right hand side listed wherein the products which are being imported from the certain category of the products shall be mandatorily inspected, tested, and certified prior to the shipment. There are certain exempted products, exempted and prohibited products too, wherein pork and any derived products from pork, any foodstuffs from made from animal blood, wines, intoxicant food products. These are all prohibited in importing in Saudi Arabia into Saudi Arabia. So nutmeg is another class is also classified as a restricted product. So under the Saudi regulations, it will be mandatorily verified what kind of products are being imported in their country. So we have to make sure that these products are not imported in Saudi Arabia, or before exporting, they are not being exported. Otherwise, there are chances of rejection of the consignment at the Saudi ports. Now, coming to the next slide, we will discuss about the registration and documentation requirements. So, what Saudi Arabia has mandated is any food products to destined to Saudi Arabia shall follow the registration guidelines and the documentation. First, the importer, what happens to the buyer or the importer, must hold a valid Saudi commercial registration certificate for food trade. And then the importer must also register the products and labels through SFDA portal. And there should be a valid product registration number issued against that product. Once that registration is in place, exporters must plan for inspection and testing. And the inspection and testing of the product shall be supported with the key documents, for example, labels and markings, or the artwork. These are to be reviewed. So what happens is Intertech would ask the exporter to share the labels and markings, the HS code of the products, the pro forma invoice of the consignment, so that these are being reviewed properly and verified whether the product requires certification, if it requires, and what are the testing requirements for those products. Then based on these documents, we will share the testing requirements. The product shall be tested as per the parameters mandated by SFDA. Then post inspection, what we do is we request the exporters to share the commercial invoice packing list and the bill of lading. and the test reports which they have received. So post all these document, once it is satisfactory, then we proceed and issue the certificate of conformity. So there are certain SFDA compliance requirements for related to food safety. So the requirement for the testing and the standard references, microbiology, pesticide residue, heavy metals, and veterinary drugs, where there is a red meat or a meat which is being exported to Saudi Arabia. Then there is food sustainability certifications like slaughtered animal products, food products, ethanol limit, lard detection. Then for labeling, we'll be following the standards, which is GSO 9 standards, and there is a requirement for nutritional labeling also. Then the expiration dates, the production date, all these has to be verified. Then the transportation and storage, wherein there is a certain requirement like how the products, the chilled meat and frozen meat shall be stored, and what are the requirements to be followed against it. There are few testing requirements I have defined here, wherein some critical parameters to be tested for meat, rice, and vegetables, processed vegetables and all. So the main critical parameter will be pesticide residue, which is applicable for meat, rice, and spices. And again, heavy metals, it is required again for meat, and it is also required to be tested in processed foods and vegetables. Microbiological parameter is mandatory, and it has to be met for all the four product categories mentioned here. Aflatoxin is required for rice and spices, and veterinary drugs for certification for meat products. So these are the very few critical products which I have defined here for testing. Now we'll discuss about the Iraq food program. So what exactly Iraq food program does? So again, the requirement over here, the program has been implemented by the COSQC, the Central Organization of Iraq. And what happens is like any products which are being imported in Iraq shall again meet the safety and quality of the food products. So all the regulated food products must obtain a certificate of conformity, which is also called as COC, and which is mandatory in the customs at the destination in Iraq ports. So again, the scope of the certification for Iraq are like these are the major mandatory requirements, like which are the regulated products. For example, spices, then processed meat, alcohol and non-alcoholic drinks and beverages, sugar and sweet confectionaries, in fact, and honey, rice, red meat. Again, these are all regulated from supply if the supplies are from India. Now again here we have the requirement to review before if there is any shipment to Iraq. So what we would request is always to share the certain documents like what are the product HS code details. Once these are reviewed, we share the testing parameters again. Then post testing and inspection, we request the exporters to share us the commercial invoice packing list. Then there is a declaration form of importer and exporter that has to be filled. Then we would require the test reports, of course, it is mandatory, and health certificate or halal certificate if the product, if there is a applicable for the product. Now we'll come to this Qatar food program. Now Qatar food program, this is mandated by MOPH of Qatar Ministry for Public Health, wherein any products imported in Qatar shall be registered first in the system called WATEC, and the product shall have a valid product registration number, which is also called as QFR certificate. At the same time, whenever there is a product planned for exports, we would also the consignment or the factory also uh, uh, shall be required to have a factory inspection. We will also see the production site or the manufacturing unit that has to be audited. This is to stop any unsafe products and which could harm the safety of the consumers in Qatar. So the first thing is the product registration at Qatar MOPH, and secondly, the major requirement is that the factory establishment has to be verified. That means an audit has to be carried out. So the products falling under the Qatar program as of now from India are meat, then there is fish or seafood, fresh and chilled or frozen, spices and condiments, and dairy products. These are the major products which requires a mandatory certificate of conformity for the supplies from India to Qatar. So again over here, just like as I said previously, the food product and the importer shall be registered in the Ministry of Public Health electronic system, which is also called as WATEC. And there will be a unique QFR, the Qatar Food Registration Number, issued for each and every products uh, and products registered. The exporter's food establishment or a warehouse shall be inspected in to check for the whether it is complying with the guidelines stipulated by the Qatar MOPH. So food safety requirements again for arranging an inspection and to test it and to certify the consignment, we would be needing the copy of labels or the artwork, the QFR certificate again, the invoice and a packing list post inspection. And before all this, we will also have to verify whether the products meet the requirement and has the valid test reports for the product. Any meat or any chilled or frozen meat would also require a halal certificate for the products. And furthermore, there could be additional documents also required for the Qatar program, Qatar while doing the certificate. Now I'll hand it over to Chandni to brief you about the overview of Africa program. Thank you.
Thank you, Ramesh, for the insightful overview of the Middle East market. Building on these insights, let us go forward to the Africa program. We will be focusing on the major product categories, the product coverage, the countries of supply, compliance requirements which will be there in Africa. So the major objective to design these programs is in order to gain maximum kind of security that all the imported products which are coming into Africa meet the local standard requirements, the regulatory requirements. In Africa, the major product categories which have been given to you on the screen are spices and condiments, cereals, seafood, sugar, honey, coffee and tea, rice. These products are majorly supplied from India, but also from the other countries of the world. Also, to let you know, the regulated products are not limited to these. The list is not exhaustive to this. Once we have the product details, which will be the HS code and the basic product label and everything, we will confirm to you whether your product requires a COC, which is a certificate of conformity, or it doesn't fall under the mandatory scope. Under Africa, we will be going through major countries, which will be Mozambique, Botswana, Cameroon, Tanzania, Uganda, Ivory Coast, and Zimbabwe. Going on to the next slide. Let us understand what are the mandatory documents required to get a certificate of conformity. We have listed the major documents and the critical documents which are required right from the pre-shipment procedure till the post-shipment, till you get your final certificate of conformity. In order to proceed, in order to review your consignment, firstly, we will require from your side the basic product details, which will include the 8-digit HS code, the product label, which will be the markings, the bag markings and everything, and also the ingredient list of the product. With the help of this, we will review from our side and we will let you know what are the test requirements for your product, what will be the standards which will be there for the testing procedure. Once these are shared with you, we need to go ahead with the inspection plan. Before the inspection, we will go with the testing. So once the testing standards are shared with you, you need to get your product tested. After the testing is done, the inspection will be required. For inspection, the basic documents will be the RFC form, which is the request for certification form. This form will be generally shared by Entitech, which will require from your side the basic importer details, exporter details, and also your product details. We will also require the container availability. Where will be the container available? On which date do you want us to schedule the inspection? Once the inspection is completed, in order to gain the certificate of conformity, we will require from your side the final test reports, which should be satisfactory. The inspection results, the report which we will get from our inspector. Then from the exporter, we will require the final commercial invoice, the packing list, bill of lading, the health certificate, the phytosanitary certificate. Depending on the basic details and the basic nature of the product, the documents can also vary. Going on to the next slide. Here we've listed the basic testing requirements. Just to let you know, the testing requirements listed here are just for referential purpose. These will vary depending on the product and the country of supply, the destination country. So there are various standards which are there in the market. Depending on the various country in which you will be supplying your product, the standards can vary from regional standards, Botswana standard, Cameroon, EAS, TZS, Codex standard. So it totally depends on the product and also the destination country. Just to quote an example here, for seafood, we have Botswana will require testing as per the 449 2011 standard. In Ivory Coast, the same product will require testing as per the Codex standard, which will be 36, 165, 166. In Mozambique, the testing and the COC part is completely voluntary and in the hands of the exporter and the importer, whether they want to go with the COC process or they want to supply it without the COC. It is completely in their picture. For Tanzania, the same product will require testing as per the TZS standard, which will be 402, 537, 576. In Uganda, testing will be required as per the EAS standard 826, 828, 827, 2022. And in Zimbabwe, the product stands to be as non-regulated. Next. This is a continuation of the testing requirements. Accordingly, for natural honey, edible oils, certain they are not regulated, they are under voluntary certification, and also the standards are listed in front of you. So once we have the complete product requirements, which is the HS code and the product label, we will confirm to you whether your product requires a certificate of conformity. If it does, what is the particular standard? Going on to the next slide. Now let us understand what are the marking requirements which are required when you ship your product. To initiate the process, when we ask you what is your product label and everything, that is for the purpose that we want to make sure your product has the complete markings which should be there on your product. All the products which are shipped to the African market, the basic requirements will be product name, the product type. What is the type of product? Does it go under confectionery? Does it go under alcohol or something like that? The list of ingredients is necessary. Net weight, name, address of the producer or the supplier, date of slaughtering in case it is a meat product or is it a seafood or something like that. The storage conditions. This matters when the frozen and everything comes in the picture. Trademark or the brand name if it is available. Batch number, lot number is mandatory. Country of origin, additives, if any are used. Length of the grain, this comes wherein cereals have been supplied or for rice or something like that. Production and expiry date. With these markings, country specifically, some countries require markings in their local language, which can be in French or it can also be in Arabic. So they give a leverage in this that certain countries require as a minimum marking should be in their local language, but you can also put your markings in the local language as well as English language. Next, let us understand what is the procedure, what is the process through which the certification takes place in the Africa market. To start with, we need to get the product details reviewed. The product details we require from the exporter, which will be the HS code, the product label, and also the basic details, which will be the ingredient list and everything. Once we have these details, we will review from our side and we will let you know whether your product requires a certificate of conformity or it doesn't require. If it does, what is the product label tell about it? Does it approve with the requirements and the country specification regulations and obligatory requirements or not? If nothing, we will share with you all the details. If you do not have a format, we will also share with you the necessary mandatory requirements for the product label. Once we have this, in a day's time, we will confirm to you about everything which will be done in the entire process, right from the testing, right from the product labels and everything. We will discuss with you on the entire process. Once you have the test requirements in your hand, you will go ahead with the sampling. So what happens in Africa is certain countries require sampling to be done. Certain countries, sampling is not mandatory. So wherein sampling is to be required as per the country specific requirement, we will ask the consignor, we will ask the exporter that when will be your consignment ready for inspection and sampling. So accordingly, samples will be sent to the lab for the testing purpose. If certain countries samples withdrawn, the same sample need to be tested in the lab also. Testing generally takes up to 7 working days as it requires microbiological aflatoxin and everything. Once the testing has been completed, within a day's time or max to max 2 working days, we go ahead with the container sealing and the container inspection. The physical inspection will cover the basic details, which will be the quantity checking, the packing list, whatever is mentioned in the documents, same is there in your product or not. Then we also check whether the newness of the consignment is there or not. Is there any germs or anything in the consignment? Once the inspection has been completed, we will receive from our inspector the inspection report. We get from your side the test reports. On satisfactory completion of the inspection, the testing requirements, the test reports are in hand. We go ahead with a draft issuance of the certificate of conformity. Within 1 or 2 working days, you will receive from Intertech the draft certificate of conformity. Once you approve this draft certificate of conformity with the decision of yourself and your importer, we will go ahead with the final issuance of the certificate of conformity. So basically, the entire process takes up to 1 to 2 weeks once the testing has been completed. If the testing is not done, it takes approximately 1.5 weeks. Otherwise, once the testing is done, not even a week's time, the entire process is done and you get your certificate of conformity for clearance purpose. With this, we understand the end-to-end certification process, how it goes about. And this, I will hand over to my colleague, Ravi Kumar, to take you over with the Intertech's details testing requirements. Over to you, Ravi.
Thank you, Chandni. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ravi. I'm the head operations for food testing in Intertech. So, I'll be taking you to the testing requirements of EU and other countries. My colleagues have explained you Africa and Middle East countries requirements and testing so far. So, this is our food testing lab network. We have 32 laboratories, food laboratories across the globe. So, the advantage of having this footprint is that when you export any samples from India to the other destination, we'll be able to help you with the testing at the destination center based on the buyer requirements. Sometimes it is the case that the testing report is required at the destination as well as export locations as well. So that is how we can help you with the testing at both the sites. Next slide, please. There was another slide for India footprint. If you see, I think you might have double clicked, Ramesh. Can you go back? No, the other one. After this, the India footprint.
No, Ravi, I think we have covered at the beginning, so we can continue
So
with this.
yeah, fine. So we have three laboratories in India. One is in Mumbai, Delhi, and Hyderabad. So, and also we have collection centers at every corner of India. So the sample comes to the laboratory with the very next day, and we can initiate the testing. So it's been 16 years for the food testing laboratories in India, and we are in this business and having lots of experience and vast scope that is covered. So apart from the regular pesticides, antibiotics testing, we also will be doing GMO testing and allergens testing specific to the buyer requirements. And sometimes it is shelf life studies also. So real-time studies and accelerated studies, depending on the product and nature of the product. It's not possible every time that the accelerated studies to be conducted for the products. So sometimes based on the ingredients and sample nature, we have to develop the protocol and then we can evaluate the shelf life of the products. And so the latest is that the 2025 we have come up with a new laboratory in Mumbai. Next slide, Ramesh. So all these laboratories are accredited with all the regulatories. So we are accredited with NABL, approved by EPIDA, T-Board, and also approved by SFDA. We have approved by FSSA, and then we have EIC accreditation, IOP, EPC, and then BS also accredited. All these accreditations are very important when you are exporting any product for different countries. For example, if you take uh, any exports to EU, so the laboratory must have a accreditation for through Export Inspection Council. The process flow for the same is that if the customer intend to export any product, so they raise the request to the laboratory that this is our requirement, and the laboratory will initiate the sampling. So the sampling must be done by an approved sampler. It's not that the sampler will be approved by the respective regulatory body. In this case, EAC might have approved for the commodity basis. So they have different expertise and the samplings for seafood, meat, dairy, honey. So there are protocols as well. So the laboratory will deploy the sampler at the location. So the samples will be picked up and will be sent to the laboratory for testing. So the testing will take another 4 or 5 days for the certificate to generate. The analysis report will be shared. The analysis report will be submitted at local export inspection authority offices for getting the health certificate. If the report complies. Next slide. So the Export Inspection Council, which regulates exports in India through Europe and other countries, regulates these commodities, these specific commodities: honey, meat, dairy, and marine and egg and animal casings. And these are the different parameters to be tested in these commodities. Apart from these, also they issue health certificate irrelevant of the product commodities that they regulate. So, but the laboratory must be accredited by EIC. So you can approach the local EA offices and get their consent before sending any sample for export that we are getting the testing done from so-and-so laboratory if the health certificate can be issued or not. So apart from EU, the next slide, Ramesh. So apart from EU, we can support you with testing for any other countries, whether it is US, Indonesia, Russia, or any other country, Canada, based on the guidelines of the importing countries. We can actually go through the links provided here, and then we can identify what are the requirements for the testing to be done. And if that is not possible, then you can write a mail to us, and we can suggest you what kind of testing is required for the destination countries, and we can help you with the testing for the same. So yeah, that's all from my side, and over to you, Ramesh. Thank you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for explaining us on the other country requirements, like which covers EU and US. So, hello everyone, I'm Ramesh here again. So I will take you through a few case studies, like a few examples where the exporters find difficulties in identifying the requirements before any shipment to Africa or Middle East or any other country. So some of the scenario is like here Miss Mary is planning to ship a product rice to Saudi Arabia, and she has prepared a draft label, which is in English language, to be printed on the bag. So she might ask, what will that be sufficient in for the regulations required in Saudi or Africa or any other country she is willing to export? So Intertech will definitely help her. We will be asking her to the draft label so that we can verify if there are any product details, any information, the missing marking or the label requirements which are to be met. So we will advise her if there is any missing things like country of origin, which is the most important part in any shipment labeling or the artwork. And since certain countries, as Chandni had also informed, that certain countries would require their own local national language also. So for Saudi Arabia, Iraq, in Middle Eastern countries, there are requirements that the product label shall be in English as well as Arabic, or only Arabic is okay for them. So there's Cameroon, which requires French, and different countries have different requirements. So we have to meet those requirements. So before printing any labels, any markings, or any artwork, we request the exporters to share us the draft label so that it will be easy for them to replace any missing marking, or add any missing markings, or any replace any markings which are not valid, or which it is not approved in the country of destination. So there will be another scenario over here, like one of the client media is preparing a big shipment for various food products, like multiple products in a single consignment. So which could be some which are being bought from local farms like spices, or any ready-to-eat products, chips, or any other tasty products which she is planning to export. So she is in a dilemma, like how it can be certified. So Intertech will be happy to assist her. So we will definitely take a look of the products with the which she is planning to export. So we will request her to share the list of products with HS code, with the labels, and we will verify what are the labels again, the markings, the ingredient list, and all. And then we will be sharing the testing requirements, and we will explain them how to go step by step process. Like the very first thing will be labeling review. Then we'll be sharing the testing requirements. Then we'll be doing the sampling. And once the sampling is done, the samples shall be tested in our lab. Post the test results, we will then proceed with the inspection and then issue a certificate of conformity. So these are just the basic queries which clients may have. Apart from this, there could be multiple inquiries, like how what are the parameters to be tested, whether the products are regulated, whether the product requires any mandatory certificate of conformity for certain food products or not, and which are the other destination wherein the product requires a mandatory certificate of conformity. So Intertech is always there to assist on that. So we can always drop us a mail on that. So some may ask, why Intertech? Why should someone choose Intertech? So we have answer. So we are something like one-stop shop. We have accredited labs. We have inspectors all over India and all over other parts of the world wherein the products can be inspected. And we have as many as food product lab, and we have samplers, we have inspectors all over. We have been issuing certificates for multiple destinations. Testing has been carried out, and if the exporter has any other requirement, not only for food products, if they need any QMS or any audits required, Intertech can help in that. So we have various business lines which if you approach us for any requirements, we can definitely support you or connect you through the concerned department and the team. Product expertise, as mentioned earlier, like we have been certifying, testing, and inspecting various product categories, right from food products, machineries, electrical products, and any other products which are being planned for exports or which are being manufactured domestically and requires any quality certificates, we have Intertech does have an expertise in testing, it's verifying the consignments. Global recognitions, you have seen what certificates we have showed in previous slides. Like we are accredited by as many as certifying bodies, and accredited, we are NABL accredited, ISO 17025 accredited, and other OSHAs certified. We are globally present. We've seen more than 120 countries. We are present anywhere, any requirement, any country of supply. If any products are supplied from any other countries, you can always let us know. We can connect with our counterpart and give you a best solution for your consignments or for the issues you are facing in your consignments. And any regulatory requirements, suppose if you have any new countries or any new requirements for the labeling or any other testing requirements, we can definitely help you with those. We can assist you with that requirements and all. Even if it is not mandatory, we can support you. Even if your consignment is not destined to any mandatory countries, any non-mandatory countries, any new countries you are looking after, we can definitely assist you with the regulatory requirements and any latest updates on those countries before being exported from the country of supply. So this is it from my end. I hope most of the information was clear. So any question and answers, we are open to discuss. Over to you. Tanya. Hello. Any questions you have related to inspection, certification, and testing?
So if anyone is having any doubt, you can just raise your hand.
I think Castor Spices has some query. Yes, sir.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, now. Yes.
Good evening, sir. I would like to know what are the tests required for EU export for cardamom and pepper.
Thank you. Ravi, can you?
Yeah, you suggest this 396 by 2005 for pesticide residues testing for all the spice products and category wise. So there is a link for that, and we can go through commodity wise for the pesticide list. It will be 570 plus pesticides that needs to be tested for that.
Only the pesticide testing or anything else? Like, is it for whole cardamom I'm talking about, not any?
Yes, ma'am. It's for cardamom, whole cardamom. Yes, not like this. Yes, it's cardamom.
Only the pesticide certification.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Indu, you can just raise your query. You can unmute yourself and please ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. The presentation was quite helpful, but I missed a bit the earlier part of it. Can you share the presentation?
Sure, ma'am.
Hi, Indu. Yes, Ramesh, go on.
Sorry, go ahead, Charlington.
Hi, Indu. Thank you for your feedback. The presentation we've prepared is solely for FIO, so you can get in touch with FIO and they can share with you the presentation directly.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. If you have any queries or if you have any shipment or any doubts, you can always get back to us on our ID. I'll just put it on the chat box.
Great.
സർ, ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും സംശയങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പ്ലീസ് ചോദിക്കുക. എന്തെങ്കിലും ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ പറയുക. നമ്മൾ സെഷൻ വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോവാണ്.
ഹലോ, ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു സംശയം ഉണ്ടായി മാഡം.
യെസ്, പറഞ്ഞോളൂ സർ.
ഈ ഡിസ്കഷനിന് പുറത്താണ് ഞങ്ങളൊരു പുതിയ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ് ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്.
ഓക്കെ.
അപ്പൊ ആ പ്രൊഡക്റ്റിന് എന്തൊക്കെ ടെസ്റ്റ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ആവശ്യമുണ്ട് മാർക്കറ്റിലേക്ക് ഇറക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി ഒന്ന് പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ ഇവർക്ക്?
മാം, actually, ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yes, yes, we can
Actually,
hear you.
they have just found some new, done with some new inventory, some product, something like that, and they want to know what all the certifications required for that product, sir.
Actually, this is coconut-based product. We are producing coconut-based.
So what
There, no, sir.
you are asking is like you have I mean like you have a product which you are looking for exports, is it, or you?
First time we are looking for an internal market. Then
Okay. So you need to know what are the regulatory requirements. How is it?
yeah, now we are going to marketize this one in local market.
Sir, the
Okay.
product എന്തായിരുന്നു, sir?
അരച്ച തേങ്ങ. അരച്ച തേങ്ങ.
Okay, just the coconut paste, sir, they are marketing.
See, actually, what happens is like if
We
there is
need
any.
to understand the nutrition value and shelf life.
If it is for local market, you have to get the nutritional labeling done and then the shelf life evaluation to be done for the product.
Yeah.
You have to register with FSSA obviously, and then for FSSA, once the product is marketed, every 6 months mandatory testing is required for the full profile of contaminants, microbial, toxins, and then pesticides. There is a specific list of products FSSA suggests that to be tested once in 6 months once the product is marketed.
Sir, can you please share your numbers, sir? Contact numbers?
It's I'm texting you, sir, in the chat box.
Ravi, you can just drop in the message.
Yeah,
Chat
sure.
box.
Yeah, sending it.
So, any further queries? നമുക്ക് സെഷൻ വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാലോ? Sir, I think so. No one is having doubt. Can we
Okay.
wind up the session, sir?
Yes, sure,
Okay.
Tanya. So what
Thank
we will
you.
do is we'll just drop we will drop our email IDs in the
Yes,
chat
sir.
box. So if any queries, if anyone has, they can just send us an email, or they can reach through you also, not a problem. So
Sure.
thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dania, for the session, for the opportunity for today's session.
So,
Thanks a
even,
lot. once again.
on behalf of you, I would like to thank you for and your team for the great presentation, sir. Thanks
you.
a lot, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks a lot. സോ ഇന്നത്തെ ഡിസ്കഷൻ, ഇന്നത്തെ സെഷൻസ് ഒക്കെ കഴിഞ്ഞു. ഇനി നമ്മൾ നാളെ ലാസ്റ്റ് ഡേ ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ നാളെ നമ്മൾ കുറേ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻസ് എക്സ്പോർട്ട് ഇൻസ്പെക്ഷൻ ഏജൻസിയുടെ സെഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, റബ്ബർ ബോർഡിൻ്റെ സെഷൻ ഉണ്ട്, പ്ലാൻ ക്വാറന്റൈൻ്റെ സെഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. സോ നാളത്തെ എന്തായാലും ആരും മിസ് ചെയ്യരുത്. എന്തായാലും നിങ്ങൾ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യണം. എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടോ? ആർക്കെങ്കിലും എന്തെങ്കിലും സംശയങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒന്ന് പറയുക പ്ലീസ്. ഞങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിഞ്ഞൂടാ, നിങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞാലേ അറിയത്തുള്ളൂ. 4 pillars എന്തായിരുന്നു നിങ്ങളുടെ സംശയം?
ഹലോ മാം, നമസ്കാരം.
പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
മാം, ഞാൻ ആദ്യ ദിവസമേ പറയുന്നു, എനിക്ക് നെറ്റിന്റെ ചെറിയ പ്രോബ്ലംസ് ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ എനിക്ക് റെക്കോർഡിങ്സ് കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. അല്ല, റെക്കോർഡിങ്സ് അല്ല, ലൈവ് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് പറ്റുന്നില്ല. അപ്പോൾ റെക്കോർഡിങ്സ്
നമ്മൾ അയക്കുന്നുണ്ട്
2
സർ. എന്താന്ന്
ദിവസമായിട്ട്.
പറഞ്ഞാല് നമുക്ക് രാവിലെ നിന്ന് വൈകുന്നേരം വരെ ഫുൾ റെക്കോർഡിങ്സ് ആണ്. നിയർലി ഒരു 6 to 7 hours ഉണ്ട്. സോ അത് കൺവേർട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് സൂമിൽ നിന്ന് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്ത് എടുത്തിട്ട് നമുക്കത് ഡ്രൈവിൽ ഇട്ടിട്ട് വേണം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അത് ഇത് ചെയ്യാൻ. നമ്മൾ എന്തായാലും ഷെയർ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്.
അത് കണ്ടാലല്ലേ നമുക്ക് ശരിക്കും പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്ത് വരാൻ കഴിയുള്ളൂ. 17-18
ഷുവർ
അങ്ങനെ ഒരു
ഷുവർ
ഇഷ്യൂ
ഷുവർ
ഉണ്ട്.
നമ്മൾ അയക്കുന്നുണ്ട് സർ. ഇനി ഉണ്ടല്ലോ, നമ്മൾ എന്തായാലും ബൈ ടുഡേ ഓർ ബൈ ടുമോറോ വി വിൽ ബി ഷെയറിംഗ് യു സർ.
ഓക്കെ മാം. കാരണം ഇന്നും അങ്ങനെ ഇപ്പോ കോക്കനട്ടിന്റെ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തു, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ നെറ്റ് പ്രോബ്ലം ആയി. ഇത്രയും നേരം വേറൊന്നും കേട്ടില്ല. ലാസ്റ്റ് ഈ ടൈമിലാണ് വീണ്ടും അത് ഓക്കെ ആവുന്നത്. BSNLന്റെ പ്രശ്നമാണ് അത്. എനിക്കൊന്നും ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല.
ഓക്കെ
അങ്ങനെ ഒരു
ഫൈൻ
കുഴപ്പമുണ്ട്.
സർ. വി വിൽ ഷെയർ യു സർ, വി വിൽ ഷെയർ യു.
ഓക്കെ
യെസ്
താങ്ക്
ലിസി
യു.
മാം, എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടോ മാം? അപ്പോ സംശയങ്ങളൊക്കെ തീർന്നല്ലോ, എല്ലാവരുടെയും സംശയങ്ങള്. എല്ലാവരും വാട്സാപ്പ് ഗ്രൂപ്പിലും ഉണ്ടെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതിനോടും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മെസ്സേജ് ചെയ്യാം. ഹിന്ദുസ്ഥാൻ ട്രേഡിംഗ്, യെസ് പറഞ്ഞോളൂ, നിങ്ങളുടെ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ എന്തായിരുന്നു? ഞാൻ അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്, സംസാരിക്കാം.
ഹലോ.
യെസ് മാം പറഞ്ഞോളൂ.
ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് ജനറൽ ഒരു ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ആണ്.
ആ.
നമുക്കിപ്പം ഇമെയിൽ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, നമുക്ക് ബയ്യറിനെ കോട്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കുറച്ച് സെലക്ട് ചെയ്ത് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ. അപ്പൊ അതിനകത്ത് നമുക്ക് മെയിൽ വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് വാട്സാപ്പിൽ ഒരു ലിസ്റ്റ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു, ഷോർട്ട് ലിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത എല്ലാവരുടെയും ലിസ്റ്റ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതിനകത്ത് നമ്മളുടെ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന വേറെ ബയേഴ്സ് ഉണ്ട്. അതായത് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടിയതിനേക്കാട്ടിലും നമുക്ക് കുറച്ചും കൂടി അവരെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യാന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അങ്ങനെയാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമ്മളിപ്പോ ഇത് നേരത്തെ നിങ്ങളുടെ അടുത്ത് ഇൻഫോം ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് അവരെ കാണാനുള്ള ഒരു പെർമിഷനോ?
വൺ സെക്കൻഡ് മാം, നമ്മൾ മാക്സിമം നിങ്ങളുടെ പ്രോഡക്റ്റ് ആരുടെ ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒപ്പം മാച്ച് ഇത് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ടോ അവരെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇത് ചെയ്തത്. ഒന്നേ നമുക്ക് വിസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. കൂടുതൽ പ്രോഡക്ട്സ്, കൂടുതൽ ആൾക്കാരെ കാണുന്നതൊക്കെ ഇച്ചിരി ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്, മനസ്സിലാക്കണം മാം.
ഓക്കെ.
സോ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് മെയിൽ എന്തായാലും എന്താണെന്നുള്ളത് ഇനിയും ഡീറ്റെയിൽഡ് മെയിൽ വിത്ത് ടൈമിംഗ് എല്ലാം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിൽ നിന്ന് അയക്കും. ഇന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ നാളെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടുമായിരിക്കും.
ഓക്കെ. എന്തായാലും ഈ ബയ്യറിൽ ചേഞ്ച് ഉണ്ടാവില്ലല്ലോ എന്തായാലും?
അത് മെയിൽ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വരുമ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എല്ലാം ഡീറ്റെയിൽഡ് ആയിട്ട് അറിയാൻ പറ്റും മാം. അതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ there are nearly 200 to 300 എക്സ്പോർട്ടേഴ്സ്. സോ അത് നമുക്ക് ഉറപ്പ് പറയാൻ പറ്റൂല.
ശരി. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു.
ഓക്കെ ഫൈൻ, നമുക്ക് സെഷൻ വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇനി നാളെ രാവിലെ എല്ലാവരും 9:30 പ്ലീസ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യുക. നമ്മളുടെ ഫസ്റ്റ് സെഷൻ വിൽ ബി പ്രസന്റഡ് ബൈ റബ്ബർ ബോർഡ് ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റ്, ഫോളോഡ് ബൈ നമ്മുടെ പ്ലാൻ ക്വാറന്റൈൻ ഉണ്ട്, എക്സ്പോർട്ട് ഇൻസ്പെക്ഷൻ ഏജൻസി ഉണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, താങ്ക് യു ലോട്ട്. താങ്ക്സ് എ ലോട്ട്.
ഹലോ മാം.
യെസ് മാം.
മാം, എനിക്ക് ഇതുവരെ മെയിൽ വന്നിട്ടില്ല മാം.
ഇല്ല, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടും മാം. ബൈ ടുമോറോ, ടുഡേ ഓർ ബൈ ടുമോറോ യു വിൽ ബി റിസീവിങ്. എന്നാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അവർ ഡിപ്പാർട്ട്മെന്റിൽ നിന്ന് എല്ലാവർക്കും അവർ മെയിൽ അയക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. കുറച്ച് ഡിലേ ഉണ്ട്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വരും, ഉറപ്പായിട്ട് വരും.
ഓക്കെ മാം, താങ്ക് യു.
താങ്ക് യു.